Hi, Kimberly here from Make Me a PT. We're just about to look at the structure of the heart, but first things first, we need you to understand that when you look at the heart, we actually have to look at it as if we are the surgeon. So we have to look at it back to front. This here is the easiest form of a heart, okay? So I want to make it as easy as possible, because when we see the heart in our textbooks, you can see it's all together and it can be really, really difficult to understand. So here is how I'm going to make it as basic and as easy as possible for you to know exactly what the heart structure is, ready for your exams, okay? So just remember, right and left, you're looking at it as if you are the surgeon. And then if we swipe across, as you can see, I've basically made a little box that has 4 little boxes inside it. What they are the chambers of the heart, okay? So the heart has 4 chambers, okay? And if you can see here, there's an opening here, 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 and here. I will explain that as well, okay? What we need to know is that the first top 2 chambers are the atrium, okay? So you've got the right atrium and the left atrium, okay? What happens then is it comes down into the right ventricle and the left ventricle, okay? So what we need to remember is that the atrium is at the top and drops down into the ventricle, okay? And you can see these little here is what opens and shuts, and that's what you can hear when you hear your heartbeat. It's these opening up and shut, making sure that blood flows down and doesn't go back up again. So that is what you are hearing when you hear that heartbeat, okay? Over. Okay, so here are the lungs, okay? So pulmonary basically means lungs. This will make much more sense to you on the next one, okay? So coming down, so O2 is oxygen, and then we've got CO2, which is deoxygenated, which is blue, okay? Again, that will make much more sense as we move over. What I do need you to remember is veins go into the heart and arteries go away from the heart, okay? So veins into and arteries away, okay? So now we're going to put it all into practice here. So we have your lungs, which is here. Then we have your right atrium, your left atrium, your right ventricle, your left ventricle. So again, left from the lungs to the body gives you oxygen when you inhale it. And then your right from the body is deoxygenated and you exhale it. So with that in mind, we're going to bring it down to where it needs to be. So here is your heart, okay? So there's heart, lungs, and body. So this is the best way for you to understand how it all flows, okay? So as you can see, I'm going to just make it red, because red into, so red into the lungs is oxygenated blood. So we breathe in, it's going to come all the way around, down into the heart, pass all the way through. It's then going to come down to the body. The body's then going to take everything it needs from it. And then at that point is when your body kicks out deoxygenated blood. This time, because remember, it has to go in through the top. So it's going to go all the way up, round, drop down into the atrium, drop down to the left ventricle, and then here it goes back into the lungs, okay? So you can see oxygenated blood comes down, travels through the heart from the left atrium to the left ventricle, down to the body. It then kicks deoxygenated blood out, back into the heart from the right atrium, right down to the right ventricle, and then it comes all the way back out as we exhale. If we swipe across here, so here you will need to know the names, okay? So remember, pulmonary means lungs. So if we read again, so remember it's going to come down to here. So this is your pulmonary vein. So pulmonary means lungs, and remember veins into the heart, okay? As it comes out through the left atrium, left ventricle, down into the body, it's the aorta. Can you see? So it's the aorta. Once the body's taken what it needs, we then make it blue because it's deoxygenated and we're getting rid of it. So it's going to come up and round. So remember, it has to go back into the top, so all the way around. So it's your vena cava, comes all the way back round, back into the pulmonary artery, which if you remember, artery is away, straight back into the lungs. And I think that is the last step. So if you have any questions on this at all, please ask away. What I would recommend is if you, or when you go into your exam, quickly jot this down, just because once you kind of write it down and you can see it, it just makes it much more easier to remember, easier to understand. So just a quick overview. We've got the lungs on the left, comes down to the left atrium, to the left ventricle, which comes down into the body. The body uses everything that it needs and then kicks out deoxygenated blood, which has to go back into the heart, back round, and then back into the lungs while we breathe it out, okay? And these are what you will need to know. So left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle, right atrium, and then just remember we've got the pulmonary vein which goes into the heart, we've got the aorta, we've got the vena cava all the way back up to the pulmonary artery which goes back into the lungs.